After a hard week of travel, work, Halloween, all of the adult things, it's time to relax with a little toy hunt. Let's go. What's up, everybody? We are back at Ninja Exchange here in Carlsbad, about 30 miles away from downtown San Diego. And it's a really great place. If you're ever here in Southern California, come and check it out. And I like this place because just imagine an empty Target with a bunch of vendors who come here every weekend and sell a lot of cool things. You know, you're gonna see things in here that are unexpected, like this. And this reminds me of that game back in 1987. Remember that game Skate or Die? It was ported to the NES by Konami under the Ultra Games branding, and we used to play this game like every day when I was a kid. And speaking of video games, if you want to go to Chucho's Video Games, this is the place to go for vintage games. They have everything. Of course, they have modern games, but vintage games were my jam, like this Raiders of the Lost Ark. I remember playing this when I was a kid. I didn't like it that much. It reminded me of E.T. The game was released in 1982. I mean, really, it should have been like Pitfall. But the mother of all vintage video games is Pac-Man. It was released in 1982. And it ended up being the best-selling Atari game of all time with over 8 million copies sold. But look how janky it was, but we still loved it. And me and my sister and my brother used to play Mortal Kombat 3 all the time. And I used to love being the robots like Sector. And if you want to pick up a console, they sell the consoles here too. And they even sell the old school NES consoles. I think this one was on sale for about $110. But we're here for Star Wars Vintage. And right now I'm doing a run of all of the ships and vehicles. So that's what I'm really looking for. You know, there's a ton of playsets here. There's a ton of vehicles that I do have already, like the speeder bike right here, the AST-5, which I'm not doing a mini rigs run right now, although I do have a lot of them. So in the future, I'm definitely going to be going on hunts for mini rigs. I remember these when I was a kid. It's the GoBots made by Tonka from 1983 to 1987. I had the submarine, and I also had a little flying saucer, which I think I saw it here. Yep, there it is, Pathfinder. And then these were really cool, the X-Men Pocket Comics. These were made in 1994 by a company called Toy Biz. And what they really are just small scale mini playsets, which I thought were pretty cool. The Wolverine one was awesome, just because Wolverine was my favorite comic book character back when I was a kid. And of course, I love just looking at vintage lunchboxes. To me, that's just ultimate in nostalgia. And then Muscle Men. The Muscle Men were made by Bandai and brought to the US by Mattel in 1985. And I believe there's about 236 official figures. And as a kid, I wanted them all. And the person here was selling them for about $80 to $100 for these sealed packages. And the Air Raiders. I thought these were pretty cool as a kid. They didn't sell very well, but these were made by Hasbro in 1987. And there was a comic book series by Star Comics, and that was owned by Mattel. But both the toys and the comic only lasted 1 year. So if you wanted to, you can definitely complete this whole set pretty easily. And this shop, Starbase Z, it's a really cool vintage shop. They have a lot of different lines, and it's like walking into a toy museum. And they have this Castle Grayskull. It's mint in box. It's complete inside for $400. So all you Motu aficionados out there, let me know if that's a great price, because I've always wanted to pick up a Castle Grayskull. And they always carry really great card sets. Of course, you guys know that I'm collecting the Topps cards from Star Wars, and they always have great sets here. I usually buy wax packs from this place just because I love having the set of cards with the stickers and at least one set of a wax pack that I can display with each of the cards. And I love looking at the Mego action figures just because this is what the Star Wars figures might have looked like had Mego picked up that line. You know, it's nice being a Star Wars fan, but it's also nice looking at the other toys and seeing, you know, what might have been. And they have a Millennium Falcon here on sale for $110. It's missing the training ball, which often you're gonna find these Millennium Falcons missing the training ball. This one's also missing the arm that holds the training ball. And here is a Ewok Village set for $160, and it says it's complete. So let's take a look at it and see if everything's there. There is the net, And there is the boulder. The strings look like they're the authentic strings as well. There's the elevator, but it looks kind of discolored. So there is also the throne for 3PO. So 160, I would say that's an okay price for it. And they have a ton of Power of the Force line here. And we just covered this in my last episode, if you saw that. And I have this lunchbox, Return of the Jedi, and you can see the thermos right there in the back. $40, not a bad price. This one is a little bit banged up. You can find pristine ones for about $100 with the thermos and the paperwork inside as well. War Against Crime, true crime books. But this book right here, Cat in the Hat, this was my ultimate book I loved as a kid. It's great to see these vintage books here in the store. And these were actually banned in my elementary school. Garbage Pail Kids. And I've always wanted to start collecting Garbage Pail Kids, at least a series 1, with Atom Bomb and things like that. But I loved the Garbage Pail Kids. And I spy in Ahsoka. And right next to it, I used to have this figure as a kid, and I have not seen it in years. It's a G.I. Joe figure, Deep Six, made in 1984. I have no idea how I got it, but I remember it living in my bathtub. And the only way you can get this figure is if you had the Shark vehicle. I'm guessing I had the Shark as well. I don't remember the Shark, but I do remember the figure. And a person I've bought from before has this Millennium Falcon. He's selling it for $230. It comes with the box, and the box is in okay condition, and it does not have the cardboard inserts. It doesn't have the paperwork like the instructions. So for $230, I'd want to get a more complete piece. But still, it's always good to see vintage pieces like this inside stores. And this place has a ton of vendors that sell pops. But I'm only after one pop. Over at Rick's Pop Shop, it's the Hall H Funko Pop from 2022. It was only limited to 500 pieces and never distributed at Comic-Con as planned. So 20 pieces are confirmed to be signed by Rosario Dawson, and I've seen them as high as 5,000. I've always told the owner I'm going to come back and check this out, but I am going to do my homework, and I'm going to make sure that the Hall H that I do eventually get is going to be authentic and not a reproduction. And I thought this was pretty cool. It looks like a newspaper ad that you used to see, like Toys R Us would run ads in papers, and these look like the ads that you would see. But you can come here and get this poster. Can somebody get this walking carpet out of my way? This place is pretty cool, the Bat Cave. I like coming here, and I'm going to show you why. If you come down here to the edge wall, here is pretty much my early childhood. I used to love Lionel trains.
This Christmas, get your boy a train that's built for the way young boys play. A big, rugged Lionel.
Thank you, Johnny Cash. This just screams nostalgia and Americana to me. And I remember me, my uncle, and my dad just setting this up in my uncle's house and just playing with my first train set. I was just obsessed about making the little track around it and setting up the little train station and all the little people I used to, set up, and just the smell of the rubber cement and my uncle always telling me don't get it on your fingers. These things just really bring me back. And above the trains, it's really cool building the cities and the landscapes around it. And you get to have a bunch of adventures and just use your imagination in. So I really do love model trains, and I think it's really something that's kind of lost in a lot of toys now, like building the world with your hands. Just a super fan of model trains. And here's a Castle Grayskull. So all you Castle Grayskull aficionados out there, this one is selling for $70, and they say it's complete. So yeah, let me know in the comments if this is a good buy. I used to have this Mork. It was made by Mattel in 1979, and the Chips action figure that's to the right of Mork, that was made by Mego in 1980. And like I said earlier, these are how the Star Wars figures could have looked like if Mattel or Mego made them. So I think looking at these action figures, it's pretty interesting. So thanks for joining me on this very relaxing toy hunt. But it's always nice to go on these toy hunts and just reset your mind, get away for a little while, and just enjoy all of these toys from our past. So let me know in the comments, what's your favorite place to toy hunt at? And as always, my friends, thank you, and I will see you next time.